graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Everett Lee Show, a shot of entertainment to the head. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the entertainment.
Welcome everyone to the Everett Lee Show podcast, your shot of entertainment. I'm Everett Lee. Quick shout out to all my followers on Twitter. You can follow me at the Everett_Lee, Facebook.com/Everett Lee. Click that like button, and also EverettLeeShow.weebly.com, the official website of the Everett Lee Show. Sorry about that rough intro right there. Well, this is part 2 of episode 68 with the best interviews 2017. I'll tell you, man, it's been one heck of a year. If you caught part 1 with the 2017 moments, I'm glad everyone enjoyed that. I uploaded the video up on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Everett Lee. You can check out the video version, or you can listen and download part 1 of episode 68 that has that best moments right there. I do want to thank everybody this year for being invested, downloading, watching any way you can of ELS, the Everett Lee Show. And 2018 is going to get a lot better. There's a lot of things going on and a lot of stuff I've been working on. That's why I didn't release this on the previous Friday. As I mentioned, on the 15th, I decided to release it today because it's just so much was going on. I was going through the interviews I did this year for 2017. Interviews I did with Chris Carnage, McShaft, or all three of us at the same time. And just going through all the interviews, I ended up not saving my work. I was spent like 2 days into it. I exit out of my work and I lost everything. So I had to start fresh. It was really long. The original post, or not the original post, but the original video and audio, which you're going to hear at the end of this podcast, it was long. And I went back and I'm glad. I guess it was a blessing because I shortened everything, got straight to the point. The way I laid it out is I introduced a guest, pulled a question or segment and used that, then moved on to another one and another one. But the video version ended up becoming about 24 minutes, which was kind of big. And I'm not too happy with how some of the audio turned out on the video version I uploaded on the Facebook page, because it cut out some of the audio a little bit. It kind of like softened it. So, but all in all, it turned out great. And I want to thank all the guests that I've talked to this year for 2017. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedules and everything that you have going on for yourself and stopping by and speaking with Everett Lee, myself, Chris Carnage, and McShaft. I want to thank each and every one of you. It means a lot to me. It means so much that you were able to do that. And besides me working on that, I did this weekend catch Clash of Champions. I want to mention about that. I want to do a couple quick things in this podcast real quick. I guess I want to start off and talk about the in-ring report with Clash of Champions, my thoughts on this pay-per-view. So let's jump right into it with the in-ring report, review on Clash of Champions, and the Mirakuru Lounge with some comic book news. So let's jump into it, ladies and gentlemen.
1, 2, 3!
Clash of Champions was on Sunday night, and a lot of talk about how the card was set up. I wasn't too thrilled about this pay-per-view. I mean, one thing was, it's like, hey, okay, it's the last pay-per-view of the year for WWE. WWE Clash of Champions. SmackDown gets to close the year out with this pay-per-view. I know last year, I think it was Raw that hosted Clash of Champions, but SmackDown gets a crack at it this year. We had 7 matches, okay? We had 7 matches on this card. During the pre-show, I guess they had Mojo Rawley against Zack Ryder, which I'm not too thrilled about. I was laughing a few weeks ago how Sam Roberts on his podcast compared this to the Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder split up of the Hype Bros. He compared it to like Shawn Michaels super kicking Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window, the Mega Powers breaking up. This is like the one of those moments for this year, for this generation. Honestly, no one gives a rat's ass about these two. No one does. So I laugh at that, how he hyped that up and was building it up on his WWE State of WWE segment on his podcast. Honestly, I don't care about these two and what they do, because I enjoyed Zack Ryder having a WrestleMania moment with winning the Intercontinental title, and then Mojo winning the Andre Battle Memorial, whatever the hell you want to say it. But I don't care about the rivalry and the split up of these guys. They are nothing like the Rockers or the Mega Powers, so they don't even compare or don't even touch what those moments and those teams hold in wrestling. So they had that. Mojo defeated Zack. Okay, let's move on. We had to open up the pay-per-view with the triple threat match of Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin and Bobby Roode. Corbin was the United States champion. Was spoiling it a little bit there, but yeah. Really good bout. Bobby Roode was expected to win this, and there's a lot that was going on in this match, especially with the counters, Ziggler coming in, trying to get his covers, Ziggler and Roode eliminating Bobby so they can have a one-on-one, just back and forth action. And the shock came when Ziggler hit that zigzag on Baron Corbin when he was trying to set Roode up for the end of days. And he ended up capitalizing and capturing the United States title, which was a shock. What's that mean? It looks like Ziggler may be sticking around for a little bit, or he may be a transitional champion for who else, comes. Maybe a Jinder Mahal down the mid-card. Who knows? Then we had the Fatal 4-Way with the Usos walking in and SmackDown champions versus the New Day versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin and Rusev and Aiden English. I don't know, but Rusev, he is so over right now. He's found something that works. And with this, he ended up, the fans wanted him to win the match, which didn't happen. And they ended up losing the match. Gable and Benjamin lost. New Day lost. Usos retain their championship, man. They retain the SmackDown championship. But it would have been nice to see Rusev and English go after him in a singles tag team against the Usos, which would be good, because if Rusev's not over, I don't know what is, man. He's found something, because every day is Rusev Day. Then we had the women's match, which I wasn't too impressed with. You had Charlotte Flair as champion defending against Natalya with the Lumberjacks on the outside. In and out. Charlotte would go, Natty would go, Lumberjacks would beat up. I just wasn't too impressed with this match. I was so glad when it was over and said and done when Charlotte put the submission hold on Natalya. Then Natalya grabs the mic afterwards and tries to cut a promo, which just came off fake. I didn't buy into it, man. It just didn't sound I don't know how you'd say. I just didn't buy into it. So I was like, thank God, the match is over. Then we had the Bulgin brothers versus Fandango and Tyler Breeze in a quick squash match. I, for one, was glad to see Breeze Dango out there wrestling instead of doing their fashion file police thing. And this is a quick squash match, and of course they're building the Bulgin brothers, Harper and Rowan, up really well, and I could see them going after the tag team titles when the time comes, because they're going to be an unstoppable force. If they get up there and they get the tag titles, I think it would be a perfect time to pull in a team like the Authors of Pain, or take the Ascension. Hopefully they can take the Ascension and build them back up to be badasses, because I miss the old NXT Ascension. And Bulgin Brothers came out on top on that one right there. They did. Then we had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura, with two referees, special guest referees, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. This was a circus, if you look at it, because it's like two referees in the ring at the one time. Come on now. And they had to split the ring up. One would count on this side, one would count on the other side. It was just a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion. They should have had Daniel Bryan on the outside as an enforcer, not in the ring with Shane McMahon trying to do counts and everything. But with a lot of things going on and everything, and it looked like Kevin Owens. It looked like Randy Orton, when he got Kevin Owens, I believe it was Sami Zayn, I'm trying to remember, up for that pin, and he was about to count. Shane was counting 1, 2, and then Daniel Bryan gets, knocked over by Kevin Owens and breaking up Orton's pin on Sami Zayn. Shane thought it was intentional. Some stuff went back and forth. Orton trying to capitalize on a pinfall, with Shane McMahon counting. And Sami Zayn ended up rolling Orton up and going for the 1, 2, and he stopped, and he didn't count 3. That upset Daniel Bryan. And then when Orton tried to roll back over Sami Zayn for the count, he ended up counting. But then when Sami reversed it and that schoolboy package roll up, Daniel counted 1, 2, 3 real fast just to screw Shane, because Shane wanted to screw him, because Shane wants Zayn and Owens out of the company. So I was surprised there. A lot of people say, "Oh, Daniel Bryan heel turn," because we haven't seen a heel turn or a heel version of Daniel Bryan ever since back in 2011, 2012, around in there, And who knows what this Tuesday is going to be for SmackDown. It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that. And of course, you get the main event, which was AJ Styles defending the WWE Championship against a Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers. All I got to say, that thank God the Singh brothers didn't try to interfere through the whole match. They didn't interfere through the whole match, which is good. They did a little bit towards the end, okay? But AJ, he did what he tried to do against Jinder. And then Jinder looked better than what he's done, and looked in the last 6 months. He looked more hungry and wanting that championship back than when he had it. And in the end result, AJ Styles put the calf crusher on Jinder and made him tap out in the middle of the ring. And there you are, retaining the WWE Championship, AJ Styles. Will Jinder go back down the mid-card and go after a U.S. title? I could see that. I hope they do that. Jinder, he's done. He's done. No more WWE Championship. Done. That's it. Who's going to be AJ Styles' next opponent or opponents for the WWE Championship? Who knows? Who knows who is going to be the challenger for that WWE Championship? I'm looking forward to whoever else is on the SmackDown roster that will step up and take on AJ Styles. But we got next month to find out at the Royal Rumble. And then, of course, we got a couple more pay-per-views before, I believe, WrestleMania. And all in all, this pay-per-view, if I rated it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd have to say I'd give it probably about... I'd have to give it a 4. Favorite match, AJ Jinder Mahal. Second favorite match, triple threat for the United States Championship. And third favorite match would have to be the tag. And that's it. So there you have it right there for Clash of Champions. I'm currently watching Ring of Honor Final Battle. I'm trying to get caught up on that. All I got to say so far, that pay-per-view happened Friday before the weekend with the Clash of Champions. This pay-per-view, Final Battle, has been so fantastic. Get ready to watch the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match with the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Best Friends. And I'm right there. Still got about 4 matches to go. I'm looking forward for the main event with Cody Rhodes, or Cody, the American Nightmare, versus Dalton Castle for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Will Cody retain, or will Dalton Castle take the belt from him? That's what I'm looking forward to, and I'll be watching that, and I guess probably mention it. I don't know when. Probably next year. In January when the Everett Lee Show podcast comes back. But so far I'm watching it. I give it, out of a scale 1 to 10 so far, I give it an 8. Right now, it's been an 8. Especially the open match with Matt Taven and Will Ospreay. Out the gates, Will Ospreay just bam, bam, bam with a high-flying dive. Good moves, man. Really looking forward to the rest of this pay-per-view. And that's about all I have for the in-ring report for this week. Going to jump in and talk about the Mirakuru Lounge, some comic book news. So I will be right back right after this. Are you a fan of ELS and Chris Carnage? Well, you can show your support with the latest ELS and Chris Carnage swag. Head over to everettleeshow.weebly.com and click on the merch tab to get your ELS and Chris Carnage t-shirts. Look for special promo codes when available, such as percentage off and free shipping when you buy an ELS or Chris Carnage swag. Head over to everettleeshow.weebly.com and click on the merch tab to get your ELS and Chris Carnage t-shirts.
The Mirakuru Lounge.
Apparently, it looks like Tom Hardy is getting his butt knocked around on the Venom set. There's a new video set from the set of Venom, starring Tom Hardy. Production continues on Sony's upcoming Venom movie with new photos from the set that has been revealed online thanks to Just Jarred. There's a video via Twitter with Tom Hardy. The tweet comes out from JustJarred.com that Tom Hardy filmed a Venom fight scene with Scott Hayes last night, and they have photos from the set. If you look on through Twitter there, from especially like Atlanta filming, you can see the stuff and the set pictures. And it looks like Tom Hardy, from the set pictures when they're not filming, it looks like he's having a really good time filming this movie. So that's good. But production's rolling on this. Basically joining Tom Hardy on the upcoming movie is Riz Ahmed from Rogue One, Star Wars, Michelle Williams, Jenny Slate, and Woody Harrelson. Venom will hail from Sony Marvel Universal of characters that will not be a spin-off of the current Marvel Cinematic Universe, where then Sony allowed Spider-Man to be played by Tom Holland. Everett Ard and Tom, I keep saying Tom, I meant to say Matt Tomach are producing the movie. Venom first appeared in the comic book series as an alien costume worn by Spider-Man in Marvel's The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 252 in 1984. It was several years before the creature left Peter Parker and merged with photographer Eddie Brock, forming the anti-hero known as Venom. Since then, the character has appeared in variations of different forms and bonded with several different hosts. In the Ultimate Marvel Universe, the suit has more tremendous origins created by Parker and Brock's science parents in an attempt to cure cancer. More recently, the Venom symbiote has been moving between hosts, including Mark Gargan, a Scorpion, and Peter Parker's old high school rival, Flash Thompson. So, production's going along with that right there. First look off of superherohype.com of Hawk and Dove and DC's Titans. Looks like the following reveal of Britton Tawance as Robin, I'm probably just pronouncing that wrong, in the upcoming series 2 weeks ago. DC Entertainment has released a first look of Alan Richardson and McKenna Kelly as the superhero duo Hawk and Dove. You check out the gallery that's on superherohype.com. It looks like the Titans Titans are coming. Looks like Jeff Johns and Greg Berlanti will be executive producers of the show. I don't know what channel or where it's going to be airing. It may be going to the CW. Who knows? If it does, that would be great. But they look pretty sick. I'm enjoying the pictures, and I can't wait for the Teen Titans TV series to hit. I probably end up coming out on 2018 next year as part of the new Warner Brothers TV series that will premiere in 2018 as part of DC's direct-to-customer digital service. I gotta cut up on that there. And it looks like, I'm gonna throw this out here, Star Wars The Last Jedi is open to 45 million, and it's climbing right now to be a big hit I'd say to close out the end of the year for 2018 or 2017. I'd say that's going to close out the year as being one of the biggest movies of the year. Go out with a bang. Why not? Why not? And of course, we all know that Disney bought 20th Century Fox. A lot of up in arms about what and when and how the properties are going to be handled. One thing is X-Men and Fantastic Four is now back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's come home. And who knows? We may see some X-Men, some Fantastic Four, getting in with the Avengers or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that? So that's all I have right now for the Mirakuru Lounge. Going to take another quick break, and when I come back, we're going to end this podcast with the interviews of 2017.
Do it! Just do it! No, what are you waiting for? Do it!
Want more ELS? The Everett Lee Show podcast is available at the following. Download the audio version of this podcast and previous podcast at everettleeshow.libsyn.com, stitcher.com, Everett Lee Show. Leave us a rating and a comment in the comments section. iTunes, subscribe to ELS, the Everett Lee Show on iTunes. Give us a rating and a comment. For the video version of this podcast and previous podcasts, visit youtube.com, Everett Lee Show. For interview segments, visit dailymotion.com/Everett Lee Show.
Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it!
ELS, the Everett Lee Show, is your shot of entertainment to the head.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
Again, I want to thank everyone for taking time out in 2017 and coming on ELS, the Everett Lee Show, talking with myself, Chris Carnage, and McShaft. If you're anything in the entertainment world or have something going on, I have talked to you this year, and I want to thank everyone for what they've done this year and shared and talked with what they've creating and what they're doing, and can't wait to see what 2018 brings. So without further ado, here we go. This is the interview segments of 2017. And oh yeah, by the way, I had a call in during the first episode for the year. Not the first episode of Everett Lee Show, but like one of the first episodes that was put out there live streamed this year for 2017. Had a surprise call in at the end. So it looks like this person wanted to end 2017. So you're going to hear that at the end of this podcast. And I'm going to end it right there. And I'm going to close this podcast with that. Again, thank you everyone for amazing 2017. And I will be back next year in 2018 with the Podcast City Network. Everett Lee Show will have a facelift for 2018. I like to mix it up, man. Keep things fresh. Even my dog agrees with it. Everett Lee Show will have a facelift for 2018, along with other shows as ELS Uncut, a Podcast City Network exclusive show. Also, Films a Classic, another Podcast City Network exclusive, covering classic films. You never know who's going to stop by and talk with me about films. We already got some episodes in the can, ready to go for next year. ELS already recorded some stuff too. That's ready to go for next year. And then you got shows joining the Podcast City Network. We had the Super Radio Brothers podcast. I'm happy they're jumping aboard for the Podcast City Network. We got the Chris Carnage Show jumping in and having his own show, his own sports show. Then we got the Imaginarium podcast with Scott Colbert and Todd Sturridge, the horror nerd, talking about everything and anything on their podcast. And I talked with McShaft today while we were knocking out some stuff for the Podcast City Network. He is coming out with his show, which will be called Fresh. I'm throwing that out there right now. Be posting more stuff on that when that becomes available from McShaft. But let's get with it, man. Just want to throw this out here. Quick shout out to everyone who follows me on Twitter at the Everett _Lee, Facebook.com/the Everett Lee. Click that like button, and everettleeshow.weebly.com, the official website of the Everett Lee Show. I am out of here, and please enjoy this last segment here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you in 2018, January, going on hiatus. I'll be back with a date when to expect the Podcast City Network and the Everett Lee Show. Everett Lee signing off. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. See you in 2018.
Okay, I hope everyone's ready for this.
Yep. Here we go.
This is great.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the podcast tonight is none other than staunch ambition creator Brian E. Lau. Brian, what's up, man?
Mr. Lee,
Hey.
how you doing?
Oh, I'm great. The first Kickstarter that you did for Staunch Ambition, how did that go, and how was the the feedback you got from that? How was that?
Well, that was a huge learning curve. There's a million aspects to figuring out what you need to do for a Kickstarter and then actually building it, Just the video alone is, okay, what is an effective video? I didn't just want to make a video. I researched on what it's so. That's another aspect where I spent a long time on that first one, and I think it turned out great. It was a grind, though. And it's nerve-wracking because, it's all or nothing, and you try to, I'm just starting out, I'm independent, I'm not with, I don't have a huge network. I have a lot of, since then I've built quite a bit of a network and fan base, but back then I was doing it. I had a preview issue I was going to like comic conventions with, and, getting this out there to people. And then I already had the website and social media going, but I was just starting out pretty much still, and so it was a grind, man. So I had, decent start, but it was just trickling in, and you're on pins and needles because it's like, what do I got to do, to get it out there and whatnot. So it was a lot of work and stressful, but it was successful, and I got a lot of great feedback. Fan mail came in, people, recently writing when's issue 2 coming out and stuff, so loving the book. Everybody was happy. I didn't get any complaints with the book or whatnot.
Johnny Knockout, how you doing?
I'm up, baby. My testosterone levels are up because I'm going to kick the shit out of some guy in just a day's time.
Yeah. I felt that same way today while driving down the road.
Me and Chris, we were talking earlier today about Braun Strowman. And Chris was mentioning about you faced a man like Braun Strowman. How do you feel the direction that he is going now, Braun Strowman is, and after what he did last week to Roman Reigns?
Yeah. Oh, what about what he did to the Big Show on Monday? He broke that damn ring and he was the last man standing.
Yeah.
I think it's a little excessive what he's been doing, and I love it. I think you need excessive aggression and violence, man. It's what we do. It's how does the old saying go? It's not ballet. Well, no shit, it's not ballet. Now when people are hitting you over the head with chairs, and you got a 400-pound guy coming at you in the corner and crushing you, believe me, I know firsthand. I felt it. But I happen to like the guy. I liked Braun Strowman before I got in the ring with him. While I was watching him, I was hoping I could have an opportunity to work with him and fight him, and I did that, and that was great. And I like it even more. I like his work even more afterwards. But when I used to have the Twitter, I don't have it anymore. I used to pick on that son of a bitch all the time. I sent him a birthday present on that. I sent him a pic. I was like, hey, happy birthday, just thinking of you. There's a picture of me kicking him in the ass. So, I picked on him as much as possible, and one day, I haven't forgotten about him either. He's doing his own thing, and he's going to be a future world champ. I can almost guarantee that.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way he's going, he's only a little bit over a year in. Yeah, I like the dude, man, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to kick the crap out of him, because I really do.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is Alex Red. He is a promoter for AWE, Atomic Wrestling Entertainment. Alex, me and Chris were talking before you came on. You've been taking Central Florida by storm here lately with Atomic Wrestling Entertainment, AWE. Anyone who's not familiar with AWE, could you let people in on what AWE is?
Yeah, AWE, first off, is awesome. See what I did there? Yeah, AWE, awesome, yeah. No, AWE, it all, I grew up a wrestling fan. It was, not to get cliche here, it was the only bond that my dad and I had was wrestling, watching wrestling every week. And, it's just, I grew up watching wrestling, and it's very important to me. Music and wrestling, that's my life. And, I don't know, I grew up watching the old WWF, ECW, and especially ECW. That's me. That's what always stood out. I like when people weren't afraid to, cross lines, do something different than what everyone else is doing, basically. And I feel like I'm not, trying to take shots at anyone, anything like that, but I feel like wrestling's missed that edge, especially I mean, there's been a few things that have come up. Like, I mean, obviously NXT has kind of changed a bit with what WWE was doing, and I think they're doing great there. And I mean, there's a couple promotions around Florida that really stand out to me as really good. Like, I think the Brainbuster Pro Wrestling down in South Florida is phenomenal. I think what Craig and Johnny are doing with that is just amazing. I love their work. And I've been to a couple of the shows, and I've really enjoyed them. And I mean, other than that, like in Central Florida, it's hard to find something that's not the same repetitive professional wrestling. Like, you're not seeing the same matches over and over that have no story. I don't know. I wanted to do something different, and I believe old school wrestling, you know, you need to tell a story, and something always has to have a direction where it's going. And there's just too many pop-up promoters, too many pop-up promotions that, you know, stay around for one or two shows. They're not really trying to create stories, and they're not afraid to cross lines, I guess, and make, you know, a little bit extreme.
Joining the podcast right now is none other than Sean Phoenix. What's up, Sean? Welcome to Everett Lee Show.
Thanks for having me, man. Great to be here. Really appreciate it.
What kind of advice would you give someone who'd be, you know, coming out of high school, you know, maybe 20-something years old? What kind of advice would you give someone who'd be interested in getting into this type of industry?
Don't do it. Pick up a musical instrument and save yourself. No, if you're gonna do it and you want to do it, you're gonna find a way to do it. Whether that be, you know, like finding a job to, you know, definitely find a school that's, you know, worth your while. Like, I know people that, like, have traveled, you know, like states away to train with X name. Yeah, that's cool if that's what you want to do. That was never for me. I felt like I could go to a local school and learn how to tie up the same way Lance Storm in Canada was going to teach me how to tie up.
Nice. Right.
Like, yeah, it looks better on paper to say I was trained by Lance Storm, but I like picking things up along the way. You know, I like picking things up like, oh, I went to this seminar, I went to this guy's seminar. So, like, I always tell people that, like, you know, if you want to train local as long as it's a good bet. Definitely get in shape, because cardio is your best friend in professional wrestling. And you just take it all in. Your mouth shut, eyes open, ears open.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me right now on the podcast, we have the horror nerd, Todd Starutch, and we have indie film director, Tom Ryan. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Thanks for having us, man.
No problem.
Yeah.
The Theater of Terror Anthology. What can you tell me about that?
I'm especially excited about this project because being that it's an anthology, it gives us the opportunity to do 5 different stories, considering the linking stories for all of them. But it allows us to dive into different parts of horror and sci-fi, all within the same project. Where, you know, the last feature I worked on, Faces, was basically focused on a certain set of characters throughout for an hour and 20 minutes. And although I love that movie, I love now the freedom that we kind of have to do these little stories. And we've always, and all of us have discussed this, and we've always loved stuff, like I mentioned, the Twilight Zone, Night Gallery, The Outer Limits, Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt, the movie Creep Show, you know, Twilight Zone, the movie. It goes on and on. Even Amazing Stories that Spielberg came out with. Like, I love all those short, contained stories that really kind of creep you out. You know, they usually when they're that short, they usually have to deliver something more to you than just violence, right? So if you watch a horror film, you can show a slasher and it's just a lot of violence. But if you have a short film and you have to deliver it very quickly, that violence doesn't come across the same way. So you kind of have to do something, a little bit of a psychological twist. And that's what I love about this anthology, is that we're approaching it that way with really dark little, you know, creepy creature feature style film.
Joining the podcast tonight is none other than a hometown favorite, Aaron Sluss of Seven Kingdoms and Soul Mass is joining us for Draft Tuesday tonight here.
What's going on?
What's up?
Too much excitement here tonight.
It is. A lot of excitement, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of excitement. what's been going on with Seven Kingdoms lately? I've been hearing about a tour coming up.
Yeah, starting May 5th, our first, or 6th, I think the first show is. That's Saturday, right? 6th, is we start off in Orlando, going with Everett Lee, this band from Sweden, Need from Greece, and Ascendia, who's from Canada.
Heck yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
All around the U.S. and both sides of Canada, so should be quite a trip.
Amazingness for you tonight. A wonderful special guest sitting next to me on my left, your right, Camden Cruz.
I don't really know what to do with my hands.
That's okay. Just put them down by your side. There you go. There you go. All right. But recently I heard you guys actually signed with Napalm Records. What can you tell us about that and how that deal came to be?
I had an idea in my head, and then I worked on it for a long time, and then I pulled the trigger.
Made it done happen?
And I followed it down, and it worked out. That's basically how it happened. I was out in the wild, just shivering.
Like a helpless animal.
Yes, until I got the prize. And then, we signed with them, and they've done a bunch of good stuff for us. And it should be a good relationship. They're going to bring the next 2 records at least.
Oh, yeah, that's always good. But you just came out with a record and an EP even before that with Decennium and In the Wall. What can you tell us about those?
We just finished a big old North American tour.
Oh, snap.
It was pretty good. It was tiring.
Was it balls to the wall?
It was pretty balls to the wall.
Now, how long was that tour?
That tour was 33 days, 24 shows. A little bit longer for Keith and Kevin, or Keith and Aaron, because they drove back home.
Oh, snap.
Straight 22 hours.
Ugh.
Like, that's not the camera, that's the camera, right?
Enter Shudder there. It's the one and only Sabrina Cruz of Seven Kingdoms.
Yes.
It is. And I have a lower octave, and he plays a little bit of bass drum, and his name is...
Oh, snap. We got the drummer, too. But one thing I want to ask, with this Decennium album, I really enjoyed it. I bought it myself. I enjoy it daily. What was the inspiration for this album?
Bass, Speed.
Harry Potter, House of Cards, George R. R. Martin, what was, everything, man. We had so many different things that were inspiring us on this album, and I think that's a good thing, because if we just kind of we're like, okay, we're only going to write about Game of Thrones because our name is Seven Kingdoms, we would write out of content really fast. So we have to continue to branch out into things that are relevant to each of us in one way or another, and also make it interesting that people besides ourselves can relate to it. So I think that's what makes this album a little bit special, is that it's not just, a couple Game of Thrones songs. It's genuine, things that we really appreciated, that we tried to bring to our fans and see if they either agreed with us or were a part of the nerd party.
No, that's good stuff.
Joining us on the podcast tonight. Adolescent Theory is Johnny Reynante.
So how did the Adolescent Theory get started? How did you all meet up? How did you come up with the idea of forming a band?
Absolutely. I think we got started back in 2012, and I'll tell you, it's an interesting story. I was sitting in a McDonald's in Altamont Springs, and all I had was a laptop, and I was using their Wi-Fi, because I couldn't even afford Wi-Fi back then, but that's how I started. I remember it was Valentine's Day, and I started the Facebook page, which is like a big deal if you're a band, your Facebook page. So I started the Facebook page on Valentine's Day using McDonald's Wi-Fi, and since then we've grown. Since then I can afford Wi-Fi now. The band's grown quite sensibly since back then, but it started out with me and my brother in an apartment over there off Crane's Roost in Altamont Springs, and we were just kind of this acoustic thing, and we were trying to do
two brothers just trying to make positive music, just some good feeling music. And something like Blink-182, we get often compared to Blink-182 a lot as far as what our sound is. So it was just that, us doing that in acoustic guitars back then. And then we kind of got some friends together and, took it one step forward and took it into electric. And things have been kind of growing and growing every year since then. We've had some pretty outstanding opportunities come our way. In a short period of time. We're very, very lucky.
Please welcome Rich and Mark from the Super Radio Brothers podcast.
Oh, man.
Give it up.
Yeah.
Rich and Mark.
They're totally here.
Yeah, we made it. How did the Super Radio Brothers start?
Well, it started on a burning bush, and Mark just appeared out of nowhere. And me, I was in the fires of Mount Doom trying to get rid of a ring. And my evil little friend Anthony, he was like, "Nah, dude, what are you doing? That ring is awesome." I still have it. No, that's not really how we got started.
Yeah, mine was more like Terminator. Like I woke up naked in the middle of the parking lot.
And everybody was like, "Oh no, here, take the clothes."
It was not good for anybody.
Terminator, he was like, "Nah, dude, let's go." And he had to beat him up. But Mark, everybody was like, "Please take the clothes, man."
Yeah. I tried to steal a motorcycle, didn't realize I didn't know how to ride one.
It was a mess. It was a mess. But he's from the future. They have like those motorcycles that levitate or something.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no gravity in the future. The moon is destroyed. And
everything's screwed up.
Everything's messed up in the future. Yes, it's like I don't know if you ever saw Mad Max.
The future.
It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that.
Although we were shooting spray paint into our mouths.
Oh, it was delicious.
Yes,
especially bright colors.
But the Super Radio Brothers has been around for 2 years. Next month will be 2 years.
Congratulations, guys.
Congrats.
I know.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, some of it was.
We've done 92 episodes.
Nice.
Congratulations. Any plans for the 100th?
A couple weeks ago, we joked about this. We were thinking about doing a rap battle.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That would be a great idea.
Yeah, it would be
Except
awesome.
Mark wanted to delay it by a year. He said, "I need time to get my rhymes in order." Maybe,
Joining the podcast tonight is none other than Joshua Jackson and Joshua Moore from the Central Florida Warriors Rugby League. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. I want to first start off and ask, who are the Central Florida Warriors?
All right. Well, I say the Warriors, we're the Central Florida's Rugby League representatives. We're comprised of players from Orlando and the Daytona area, and pretty much everywhere in between. We're part of the USARO, which is the U.S. Association of Rugby League, and this allows us the opportunity to be able to participate in rugby league activities. We do youth development and elite development, and also compete in domestic and international events and environments. And that's pretty much who we are as a team, representing Central Florida in the USARO. That's the league we're part of.
Awesome. How did the Central Florida Warriors come to be?
Well, it was sort of part of an expansion from rugby league in the South. Before there was a Southern Conference, the Jacksonville Axemen was the only team in the USARL that represented anyone playing from the South in the U.S. And so over the years, the closest team to Jacksonville was in Washington, D.C., Slayers. There's teams also in the conference all the way up to New York and everywhere in between. So there's teams in Rhode Island, and Boston, Connecticut, Philly, and I was just naming a few of the other places where there are teams at. And so there were quite a few Warriors that actually used to play for the Axemen. And some of us would come, from Orlando, from Miami, Tampa, Daytona. And over time, they built a strong team foundation. And then there were enough people in our area between players and owners who considered forming additional teams in the league. And then that's sort of how the Southern Conference was born. And then, during that expansion, the players in their respective areas formed and developed teams. And then we began competing with each other in the Southern Conference. And then the winners from the South play against the winners from the North. And that's how our championship is comprised of every year.
What is that? Just looks like... the hell? Hello?
know who this is?
The Menace. Hey, man.
That's exactly correct.
Wow. Haven't heard from you in a long time. First off, where the heck have you been?
Hey, you know who this is?
Is it the Menace?
That's exactly correct.
Wow. It is the Menace, ladies and gentlemen. The Menace is on the Everett Lee Show.
You know why I'm calling you, right?
Menace?
You know what I'm calling you for, right?
What are you calling me for?
I'm calling to tell you that Renegade and myself have teamed up, and there's nobody that can stop us. Got it? Listen to me, right?
Yeah.
You think you don't like me now, right? I know you don't like me. I've heard you talk about me on the internet. I've heard you talk about me to people. You think you don't like me now? You wait till you get to know me.
Okay. And he hangs up. I haven't seen you since that show over in Central Florida when you took the ring bell and you knocked out Sergeant Hardcore Major, man.
Oh, that's not exactly how it happened. You mean when I picked the ring bell up to look at it, and he accidentally ran into it face first and knocked himself out? Well, that had to happen because, as you recall, I was working that show with Renegade, and Renegade was getting ready to get beat like he always does in that particular match. So I had to intervene and take care of business so we could get the match. Listen, did you get my email?
Yes, it just popped up on my screen. Open it. Okay.
Open it.
Oh my God! What the heck is this?
Take a look. Take a good hard look.
What the heck?
What you're looking at is a couple of dance buddies. You got Chris Carnage on one side. You got Renegade on the other side. All the excuses these guys make about how they can't wrestle and how they can't do shows anymore because they're too busy. Little did I know they were both out square dancing all the time. And by the way, there's another picture there. Open that one.
Oh my God! What the heck?
McMuffin. There he is, right there. Your new side, your new partner there on the podcast. McDummy. Never lets the truth get in the way of a good story, that guy, when he's on the air. I'll tell you that.
Where'd you get these? Were you trying to do some kind of blackmail?
Actually, I just wanted you to have a little laugh because I think it's kind of funny. I know Carnage has been telling you he's too busy to do podcasts lately. I understand he's out doing roadie work for the Backstreet Boys. Big Dummy 1, which is Renegade, he retired from wrestling, so I guess he's got a lot of free time on his hands. And then, of course, McDummy, you know how he rolls. This guy here, he's the biggest fountain of misinformation I've ever heard in my life. I don't even know why you have him on your show.
What the heck?
I want you to show this on one of your podcasts. And by the way, I'm going to be getting back with you.
Okay. All right. Damn it. Damn it, Menace!